Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
He is just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name, start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
Hi everyone and welcome to another action-packed episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your host, the man who has a razor for an arm, Kyle Charles.
And the son of the Yellow Peril himself, CY Chung.
And in this episode, we're going to speak about the latest in the Marvel, crap ton loads of films. Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Is that that's called, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We both saw it over the weekend, and we're gonna talk about it.
So we'll do non-spoilers and spoilers, but let's get into something just a bit before that, right?
All right. Yep.
So in the comics, Shang Chi is the son of the super racist creation Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Right? So the Yellow Peril, right? Of the evil of the East, whatever you want to say, he's, however, the worst things that can be put. But then, to be fair, they made him a criminal mastermind and all that stuff, so it's bad and good, yeah. But it's just straight up racist.
Yeah,
however,
of course, yeah.
Right? But you know what it is, right? Things are so racist back then. You look at it now, and you think this is actually hilarious.
It's
and
comical rather than racist, and you're like, this is dumb. Yeah.
Gee. But yeah, back then I was just out to offend everybody in every single way. Anyways, I'm glad they changed that, because there's no way getting around how racist Fu Manchu is.
Yeah.
Almost cartoonishly, like you're saying. So it actually take away from the actual story of that they're putting here. And I know the Mandarin is kind of a little bit racist, but not as bad racist, because he's just a Marvel original creation character.
Yeah.
I think they were saying that Mandarin is kind of based on Fu Manchu as well. However, it doesn't come with all that racist backstory baggage. So
yeah.
And you don't mind, like I guess I don't mind either, how they basically transported a Iron Man villain to be a Shang-Chi villain by name only. Because technically he is still Zhang Tzu, who is Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
AKA Han, AKA Wen Wu.
He's got so many AKAs.
Well, to be fair, the guy's been around for thousands of years
at this point. Yeah. Oh, he's an original creation to the.
Yeah.
I
think they just transplanted the character with the Mandarin name instead of the Fu Manchu name, and just get and kind of swap not the backstories, but just like, oh, he's not really the Mandarin. He's really Fu Manchu, Zen Wu character.
Yeah.
They just called him the Mandarin like that. He just got appropriated that name, because they don't want to actually call him Fu Manchu or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense
with any of that. Yeah.
So what did you think of the actual film itself?
Actual film, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I don't know if I'm still riding off the hype train, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Even though like it kind of was just bog standard Marvel origin movie. But
I know, I really liked it. I thought it was kind of, okay. It did have this standard. Well, okay, kind of it didn't and didn't because it wasn't straight up. This is an origin story, because there's stuff that happened in the past.
Yeah.
That was kind of his. It wasn't like he got powers, for example, right? And then he progressed the rest of the story. He's always had the abilities that he's had of martial arts. So, yeah.
Yeah,
so it's not an origin story that way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not in that way. It's kind of like the Black Panther one, because you sort of already knew his origin, kind of, because of him being in Civil War.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So it moves along quicker rather than, well, to be fair, his martial arts abilities and martial arts, it's not like he's getting new abilities and trying to get used to them, you know?
No.
So
he's known him his whole life, obviously. Because
So in that case, so when I say it gets up running and starting straight away, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
None of this trying to figure out what the limits of my thingy-jig here can do here or there, or creating a device that then is able to do something else. You know, none of that.
None of that.
Just got to beat people up.
Yeah, literally, he was just kicking ass straight away.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, like, literally in this film. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Right, so, all right. So, but you like the story, yeah?
Yeah, I like the story. It was original.
But you're saying, when you say bog standard Marvel origin story, what didn't you like about those sections then?
I wouldn't say I didn't like any of it. It's just like, it's sort of like, it had that same formula that every sort of...
Oh, gotcha. See. All right, well, did you enjoy the martial arts?
Yes, I thought it was amazing.
What about because I'm used to it. I've seen programs, like the Chinese programs that do these kind of floating across the screen stuff. I know this is not like that, right? This is not to that level. It does have a bit of fluid movement, I'd say, when people get launched.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. I do like how they divide, like, people's fighting styles aren't generic.
No, they all had their own little sort of...
Yeah. Well, the
thing.
groups that they had to distinguish styles, and ability. Yeah. So it's good at that, and they kept it on that. Because let's just say in Captain America, Winter Soldier, what was his fighting style? You know, but to be fair, it was a mix of everything. It was not distinguishable. It was using everything, all the abilities, all the stuff he was learning. We didn't know what he was learning, but he was fighting with all of those combat abilities. Here, you got distinguished styles that are going on, and each sext is fighting those particular ways.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I never thought about it like that until you just mentioned it.
Yeah. I do like. Well, okay. Let's break down the actors. Right. What do you think of Simu Liu as Shang Chi?
I really liked him as Shang Chi.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's gonna sound really weird, but he's quite an attractive man. Like,
yeah, well, look, he's okay. I'll tell you what it is, right? He's got charisma, screen presence.
Yeah,
and you're like, yes, that guy, because he's there and he's on screen, but it's not like he's got that confidence that draws you to him.
Yeah,
but it's not like he's smothering you with his presence.
No,
it's that I want to say that Keanu style, relaxed, laid back presence, rather than say, for example, The Rock. You know what I mean? The Rock is there. You know he's there.
Yeah, he doesn't like overshadow anyone in his scenes he's in.
I don't want to say he knows his role, but he knows he's the leading man, but he lets other people on that are around him do their part as well.
Yeah.
It's not me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's built as well.
Yeah, dude.
And he looks like, I don't know how much of it's CG, how much it's stuntman or whatever, but it looks like he's capable of doing the stuff that his character does. Yeah. I know some of the ludicrous stuff, probably not for the sake of safety, but it doesn't mean that he can't do them, you know?
Yeah.
He looks physically like he can.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about Awkwafina as his buddy?
I really like her because I liked her from when she was in. First thing I ever saw was in Jumanji 2. Was it 3? Right. Whether she's in that, and I liked her in that, and then when I saw her in this, like even better. And I just think she's she didn't chew up the scenery or anything like that. She added to the story.
Yeah.
And I like their relationship. It wasn't like the blatantly obvious like Tony and Pepper and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was even at the end, not spoiler anything. I don't know if they're together or not. You know what I mean?
It seems like they're just best buddies.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's different.
That kind of, it never came across like as a romantic relationship, and it just came across as really, you know, I don't want to say brother and sister relationship, but just like really like friends that have just been together a long time.
They seemed like, and this is a callback to another film. They seem like family.
What?
Family.
Oh yeah. I enjoyed her. I've seen her in Crazy Rich Asians, where she was a bit over the top, right? But then again, I think that's an actual. I don't know how much of his actual persona and on her character.
Yeah,
she seems to be that level sometimes.
Yeah.
Or she's not too far from that screen level, that level. I think she suited it because she was calling out everything that's happened in the film, going, "What?
Why?" Yeah, she was the audience. Yeah,
which is good because as we were saying before, like when Shang Chi knows what's going on, right? But you need to have a character, and it's not his origin story because he doesn't need to ask any questions.
No,
but you need a character to ask the questions, and Aquafina is that perfect character because it's just like, well, this is so crazy. What's going on? And all you people here acting like it's normal. Shut up.
That's what was cool. That's what I liked. I was like, oh, she's us. You know, she's being thrown into this world like we have without no explanation, and she's just like,
I found that really well. The other actors after that, I don't know. You're gonna have well, first of all, we go through someone that you do know, right?
All right.
Michelle Yeoh.
Oh yeah, man.
Good for her part. Yeah.
She's the greatest. Yeah.
I know she did get a huge part, and I don't want to say spoilers because they advertised her in it as well. I thought she was going to have a big part, to be honest. The way that they did put her on the billing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was just to draw the Chinese audience. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah.
People that are more famous in your sector of the world.
Yeah, they did it the same with another character as well. I was like, he was barely in this, but we'll talk about him later.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Florian Munster. Well, look, we know him as Drago's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of him?
He was alright, yeah.
He played the brute, but he didn't actually just play the brute.
No.
I thought he might be, the guy, the second in command, the guy you got to beat before the boss or whatever. Yeah. But no, he's actually got some good comedic timing.
Yeah.
And I want to say he's actually a good general.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. Like, I liked how he wasn't really bad either.
Well, the strange thing is that I don't think in the entire cast, no one was truly a bad person. They were all dealing with specific. Look, the villain, the quote unquote villain, was dealing with specific issues, right?
Yeah.
That you sympathize with.
Yeah,
and on screen, he doesn't do anything too villainous that you don't side with him.
Yeah.
He just, when they say about the stuff he's done, that's different because you never see it.
Yeah.
Assign it to him, even though you hear how bad it is. It doesn't stop you sympathizing because if you just saw him do something brutally bad,
then be like, oh yeah, he's straight up villain. Yeah, I get what you mean. Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know how to pronounce her name. The lady who plays Shang-Chi's sister, Meng'er. I don't know. I don't know about this lady. I've never heard of her.
Neither have I. I think that's how you say it.
She seems to do well for her role. Like her I want to say the athleticism martial arts. I don't know how much she did herself, but she looked like she could do the stuff.
Yeah, man. I really liked her as well. I liked how they didn't make her have an American accent because that's a habit of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. She was good.
Right. So we'll get to. There's a surprise character. I don't want to say him yet, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
All right. We'll get to the lady who plays Shang-Chi's mother, Fala Chen.
Yeah.
I think she did good for her role. I don't want to say how long she's in the movie.
Yeah.
So she did what she was needed to do.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. No. But okay. when she was with Shang-Chi's father, those scenes where like you're like, oh, you know what, yeah, they tell a lot with so little.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good on them. They got the right person to be the I don't want to say the opposite side, but the partner.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did well. Like you said, the scene she was in,
Yeah.
she did good.
Yeah. But then I have to say my main praise goes to my boy Tony Leung as the Mandarin, as Wenwu. We'll call him Wenwu. Sometimes we'll slip into Mandarin, but yeah.
Yeah, man, he was great.
Yeah, I was like, I was more excited. Okay, I was like, okay, Shang-Chi, all right, Master of Martial Arts, it's gonna be a good martial arts film, right? That's what they're gonna be trying for at least, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm most interested in seeing how he comes across here because his first Hollywood film, but I've seen him in tons of other films, and boy, man, can he do it a lot with just a simple look, you know?
Yeah, he was great, man. I did like him.
A whole bunch of dialogue, right? But the man just gives you a particular way of his facial features and body movement, and he's just told the entire story. I'm like, jeez, man, that's masterclass right there. He didn't even need to say all the stuff. So some other actor might need to say a load of things, but this guy doesn't.
Just his face. He's like, oh wow.
Exactly. There's loads of things that is like conflicting in the character. He does certain things, but you're like, okay, Donnie Yen was actually going to be cast in this role. They originally went to him.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Oh. And I gotta say, I don't blame them because if they wanted the martial arts choreography, they could hire him to be the villain and to be, well, not the villain, but to be this character and to choreograph the martial arts, right? But I don't think Donnie Yen could pull off the acting like this. It'd be
neither can I.
Not to cuss Donnie Yen's acting skills, right? But he just doesn't compare when.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some guy you were fighting, right? And he's gonna be an evil bastard. You could cast Donnie Yen there; he'd be fine, right?
Yeah.
But when all the smaller subtle stuff that's just like, I'm not doing this because it's me. I'm doing it for other people, or I'm just single-minded my goal. Unfortunately, I'm not looking at anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
What's happening here with the Mandarin? That's why you can't with Wenwu. It's like it's not complete. He's never completely evil, but sometimes he's consumed by certain motivations.
Yeah.
Like we say. The characters talk about what he's done in the past. You're like, yeah, but I can pretend he never did it. I never saw it. I closed my eyes.
Yeah, plus he was
like wrestling referees, right?
Yeah. Plus, he was good for like 10 years or so, and then
thousands and thousands of years that he was there.
Yeah, those 10 years made up for it, I guess. I don't know.
There was some other minor characters in it that I recognise from Chinese films. Some from the 80s. Not sure if you recognise. How many have you watched the old school martial arts films back in the 80s?
Not too. I probably have, but I wouldn't be able to like say which ones I've seen.
Yeah, there's a guy called Yanhua. He's in it.
Yeah.
If I say Fist of Fury, he's in it. He was in Eastern Condors as well, fighting Sammo Hung, I think.
Okay, yeah.
He's doing quite good. And I was like, oh, geez, it's him. So yeah, good on them. But even though it was a minor role, it's just like, yeah, okay, you didn't need to cast I mean, you could have cast anyone in that, but they just decided to cast someone that has a bit of a stature in in China. Yeah, they spoke Mandarin though, so I was like, oh man, the language to Mandarin, right?
Yeah, no, I noticed that as well. Not that I'm quite versed between the difference of Cantonese and Mandarin, but I could tell it wasn't Cantonese. Like,
yeah, because of the martial arts films you have watched.
Yeah, I was like, I've been around enough people to know the difference. You know what I mean? Like, they are know the difference.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I was just like, how much is this going to be Chinese? Yeah. I just for some reason assumed it was Cantonese Chinese. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try and listen to see what they're actually saying and match the subtitles. But then it was Mandarin. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be way harder.
It's like, check out. Tap out.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah. And but I did know sometimes I think 100% of the subtitles were exactly what's translated, but just kind of close enough.
Yeah, thought so.
Yeah. But then there'll be sayings here and there that you that culturally are not gonna be different anyway. So
yeah,
it's just more of an Easter. Not want to say Easter, but the people that know the language will be yes, I get it. That's But overall, you're saying I found it really good actually.
Yeah, man.
And I think the performance of Tony Leung did actually help it a lot. Not to say he's carrying the film, because he's also one of them. He's like, I know what my character does, right?
Yeah.
And I know how good I am, right? But it's not about me. When I'm there and I'm delivering my dialogue, it's about us, the characters.
Yeah.
And our interactions. So I'm like, yeah, man, the guy never. He could just easily go out and try to steal the scene, but he never does in an overt way. He just does it in a, not even purposely in a subtle way, but just like, he's just that damn good.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah, and you found the martial arts pretty good as well, yeah?
Yeah, man. It was great. It was gangster, man. I love that. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't too wiry work.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoyed it.
I did like how there's a mix of not ground fighting, but like street-based fighting, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
And then when they start using, I don't want to say magical items, or when they go to other areas, it becomes a bit more like a ballet.
Yeah.
The styles change, the styles shift, but that's because you could say certain things that are going to be spoilers, right?
Yeah.
They shift from where they are to elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that goes with the change of the whatever they do. But yeah, I like it started not scrappy fighting, because obviously Shang-Chi's the master of martial arts, even in this continuity, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So, but and then things get more and more. Yeah, I don't want to say classically kung fu, but if you've seen that stuff back at like I seen it in the 90s when my parents were watching all the Chinese dramas.
Yeah.
They were doing the flying and that stuff. I'm sure you've seen Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and do stuff like that. But they do it here where it's appropriate. But they always like a throwback, because it is meant to be Chinese. They add some of that, because it'd probably be a bit odd if they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to say before we move to spoilers? Because
trying to think if there is anything else I could say about the film without spoilers. I felt happy coming out of it.
yeah.
Great film.
Oh,
great film.
After watching both credits scenes.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, interesting. Like both of them was like, ooh, this is quite interesting. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. I wonder where it's going, but then again, it must be related to the next movie in the Marvel movie timeline.
One of them, I reckon, is.
Yeah.
Second one, I'm like, they can do many things with this.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Okay.
It's one of those where you're like, I wonder where they're going next, and Shang-Chi can kind of fit. The character can fit in different parts of whatever, because he's street-based, you could say, right? But then he can fight people high level, and because he's just that damn skillful.
And
right?
because of something he obtains,
Yeah, they are on as well.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't have that, then you can slot him in a different position.
Yeah.
And then that when, for example, you got to fight the high level threats. So that's good on them, because they're like, he has an ability, like Iron Fist. He has an ability, and then he doesn't have the ability. We put him here, put him there.
Yeah.
Good idea from them.
Yeah, man. Great. Okay, so I guess from this point on, we're gonna talk about the spoilers. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So everyone's warned. So after 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay. One of the things I not have a problem with, but I did at first, and then I got used to it at the end, was that they changed the rings into not rings, if that makes sense.
Well, bracelets, but they are circular.
Yeah.
So they are rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, okay. What was the issue you're having with them?
Now at first I was like, because the whole stupid old school mentality crap was like, oh, but the Mandarin has rings. I want to see rings, finger rings. And then I was like, okay, I get it. In this day and age, that would be kind of stupid.
No. Okay, I partially agree with you, right? But then I partially don't, because you can't have that in this sort of film.
Yeah.
Because Mandarin rings got different powers. per ring.
Yeah, that's the thing as well.
So
Yeah.
ice and fire, and has the power of wind to create flight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like that's stuff you can fight. That's magic you use to fight a tech base like Iron Man, or you can use that to fight Doctor Strange or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But you can't use it here because then you're too overpowered.
Yeah.
I did like it that they actually changed it as to 10 circular bracelets that have the ability of question mark because they're never actually defined.
Yeah, they're never defined.
They can do stuff that whatever they need and want to do.
Yeah.
Basically, I want to say that there's some sort of telekinetic.
There has to be in it.
Yeah. Because they can control them and how whatever they do, with blast as well. But they all connect. They can be connected as a whip, and then they can all use be separated as different items. So you can just launch one at a time.
Yeah.
Or if you par them together and blast them, they have 10 times. Let's just say they have the power of one is one single, right? And
Yeah.
then you blast two, twice the power. What should we say? Three times the power. Three.
See, it's one of those things. On screen, it's amazing, but when you try and explain it, it just sounds stupid. Yeah, I mean,
All they are is they've got some ability of some blast, some energy dissipation of some sort that can multiply and do other things.
we think.
Yeah. As far as this, but it's good they don't need to explain, because if you explain that stuff, people would be like clocked out.
Yeah.
By the time you finish explaining, you'd be like, everyone like,
Huh?
what?
Yeah. I blanked
Just
out.
leave it be. You don't need to explain it to me. Just
No.
show me on screen. It's fine. You know.
But yeah, after that I got used to it. I was like, yeah, at the end I was like, you know what, they are pretty cool. I think that's an awesome ability, whatever they're doing, because all that madness and stuff is doing.
Yeah. Like I was saying about before, when he finds the 10 rings, and they ain't explaining how, he just has them, right? Has them on his first expedition, or whatever. He's looking like he's so far back in the day, Genghis Khan style.
Yeah, it looks like that, and in the Dynasty days, yeah.
And he's just whooping everyone by himself. Just break into the castle like with all his troops afterwards. So they're basically just showing being a savage.
Yeah.
A PG-12A rated savage, because you can only go so far.
Yeah, it's not like slaughtering people's babies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which would be weird.
Yeah, and then he's just gone on the quest to find even more power, because once you got power,
You need
what
more.
else do you want?
Yeah.
You want more power, of course. Yeah. So, which I don't want to say is logical, but when I don't want to say if you're a man of ego and you want everything, you're not going to stop until you have everything. So,
Until you have everything, or you die. Yeah.
Exactly. So it makes the way they started his character, to this point where he gets to the village to try and conquer another.
Yeah.
To gain more power, and he has the kind of so he fights a lady, the protector of the village.
Yeah. Or the protector of the gate to the village.
Yeah. And she fights in he's fighting as a brute, his style, right?
Yeah.
It's not unrefined. What I'm saying is he's trying to hit and hurt, right?
Yeah.
But she's fighting with a different, I want to say a Tai Chi style, because that's kind of the way it looks like.
Yes,
where
she's more defensive.
Yeah, and redirecting.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a flirtatious little sparring battle.
Yeah.
So she turns him away. He comes back later on with apples. Essentially
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a peace
they
offering.
do a little scene where they get together. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty good, because this is in like a 5-minute scene, not even a 5-minute scene. They just
something less
told
than
the
that.
story between the characters in silent looks.
Yeah.
Which is quite skillful, for an actor to do without dialogue.
Yeah.
So she leaves the mystical village, which when we never actually goes into, by the way, right? He leaves with her.
Yeah.
So they can be family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they talk about then they go they switched the scene to when Shang-Chi's grown up now,
Yeah.
and he's putting on a suit, right?
Yeah.
In the trailer says spoiler, but they shouldn't have done it. And he puts on a suit like he's going to work or whatever, right? Or going to go out on a night, however it is. Just he's got his tie on, his white shirt, he's putting on his blazer. Then next scene is a Ferrari, like some really impressive car driving up, screeching its wheels. Door opens, dude steps out, and then he throws his keys, and the valet catches it, Shang-Chi, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd have been a really funny joke if you didn't show in the trailer all the time.
Yeah. I'm so happy I never watched the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really watch it, but this was at the beginning of the trailer, you know, before you even could click away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, so that sets him and Aquafina up as valet parking drivers.
Yeah.
But they're enjoying what they're doing because they're having fun and stuff like that. Low level of responsibility, no level of nothing. They just want to get on with their lives and have fun. And I can see why Shang-Chi wouldn't want to do. When you hear his backstory, you're like, yeah, he don't want...
Yeah, he don't want the responsibilities.
It's not like that. It's just like... He's had a harsh life up to that point. It's like, I don't need none of this anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to go and be me and be silly. And he calls himself Sean as well, which is kind of funny.
It's kind of funny, especially when she points it out. She's like, so, you changed your name from Shang to Sean.
Yeah.
There's no thought in that.
Like, and he's like, to be fair, I was 15. I was 14, 15?
Yeah.
When he left to go and do that. So, yeah, so she grabs the keys off Shang-Chi and she goes, oh yeah, I'm going to park this car. And then she goes, come on. You can trust me. I'll drive slow. And then you just screeching around the streets of San Francisco with that car.
Yeah, it's cool.
Which then sets up stuff later on. It's not like they were valet parking for no reason, though.
No. There's actually a backstory to it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, if they were randomly other things, then some of the rest of the movie might not work. They kind of... I don't want to say they had to be valet parking, but there had to be something associated with cars.
Yeah.
But nothing stereotypical like racer boys and stuff like that. Tokyo Drift, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. They get attacked on the bus after their work shift.
Yeah.
Which was in the trailers as
well. Then it was going to work.
Sorry?
I think they were going to work and they get attacked.
Oh yeah. So the next day, they're going to work. They get attacked on the bus. Well, first of all, something shady's happening, right? And you know when a guy squares up to you and he's like, no, Shang-Chi's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then this one guy's fighting him, and then the rest of the bus 10 people at the back of the bus start standing up, and he's like having to fight all of them as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on? Who are you? What is this?
Yeah, because all of a sudden he's like just kicking ass. So like, oh wow, where has this been for the last like 15 years of me knowing you? Like,
why are random people attacking you? What's going on in my life?
I love that. It's like I was thinking the same. Literally, I was like, she's saying what I'm thinking. That's awesome.
Yeah. But what was funny as well, I think the bus driver somehow gets a KO as well, and then Aquafina has to go and drive the bus speed style.
Yeah.
Which was really good as well, because then it's like, yep, they relate to something that was happening earlier.
Yeah.
Her manic driving skills do come in handy.
Yeah.
So when Shang-Chi's fighting all these people, Razor Fist, our boy Manny, what's the name? Florian Mentu.
Yep.
Squares up to Shang-Chi and it's like, yep, this guy's massive. Right?
Yeah, dude, he was
And
huge.
he's got a sword for an arm. Yeah. That was a pretty decent fight. I mean, look, it was a pretty good fight considering it was a small area and the size difference. He didn't actually try to fight him. He tried to use the bus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Inside and outside the bus as well. So that was a pretty cool idea and stuff that was happening there. Shang-Chi fighting Jackie Chan style, if you know what I mean. Using anything there, even the bus I don't want to say technically using the bus as a weapon because they don't use the poles of the bus, but what I'm saying is he's using it to block shots as well. Like the I don't want to say the chairs, but the sides of the buses and stuff like that. To gain passes. And like, you know what? That's well choreographed. And I think Razor Fist is slicing out the bus, so it starts cutting in half at some point.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi's like, oh, yeah, I can use this, right? And gets them to do like final slice while drop kicks him. So it launches Shang-Chi back into the front of the bus.
Yeah.
And while the back of the bus splits, and all the enemies are on that side. And prior to the drop kick, he told everyone to run to the front of the bus. Everyone that was not KO'd by that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, how are you going to land that drop kick? Because if you land it on your back, you might not be getting up, right?
Yeah, you just or concuss yourself or something.
Yeah. Like, he drop kicked him, but landed in a front bump, which is easier to take, but still you don't want to be hitting like ground with that.
No.
But at least you're not, whacking your spine with that, because
Yeah, that's how you get paralyzed. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, okay, maybe he can stand up from a front bump afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But he's got to be holding his back from if he did a drop kick. Yeah. So then Shang-Chi's like, oh, they took my pendant, which was the memory of my mum.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go after my sister, who also has the other pendant.
And she's been sending me postcards. Like, okay.
And random postcards. So I've got to go here.
Yeah.
To where did we go?
Somewhere in China, right?
Oh no, I think it was still in the US.
No, I was in China.
Right, you're right. Sorry, yeah, Macau. Sorry,
yeah. There we go.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, which is where on the plane air ride to Macau, he's telling Aquafina's backstory.
Yeah, and you find out, well, he had a crappy life.
Yeah, where basically he was just trained to be a living weapon since he was 7 years old.
Like another hero that they pretend doesn't exist anymore. But yeah.
One of them say they might not pretend doesn't exist. Maybe they use him for the sequel.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and so what's quite funny is they're going up a building that's been, I don't know, what it is, you think it's half under construction, but it looks like it might still be completed. It's just the bamboo's out there for the look.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. Maybe there's still construction on the floor on top of it. I don't know. But they're going up the lift, right? And the guy's like, sign here. And you just assume that he's just signing in to say he's a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking for my sister. Okay, here's sign here, right?
Yeah, you're like,
and then,
okay, cool.
Yeah, and then when they step out, so someone was recording the bus fight on their phone and it went viral.
Oh, yeah, that was
Shang-Chi bus boy.
Yeah.
So he stepped out there, right? And it turns out what he signed was not a login to say that he's a guest. It actually was a contract to fight.
Yeah.
In this whatever organization it is, and they're like, "What? When did I sign that?" And he goes, "You did it. You didn't look at it. Didn't you look what you signed?"
It's like, no.
No. This is where you see the clip of Abomination fighting Wu.
Yeah. Which, kind of annoyed me, but it is what it is.
No. But explain why.
No, because like I remember, I don't know what I was doing. I was flicking through something, and they showed the premiere of this film somewhere, and Benedict Wong came up. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for ruining that. He's in the film, but okay, I thought he might have a longer, like, more to the story in this film, but it literally was that cameo, like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like you're saying, right? I didn't mind that they said he was in it, but it's just more of how is he going to be in it? He's just going to be in it just to be in it because is there any other Asian kind of in there, and you want to put all the Asians in the film, or is he actually have something to do with it? To be fair, he tags in and out for specific reasons, but it just like he's the new Nick Fury.
No, I wouldn't say that. He's just plot.
No, I think he's the guy who's making crossovers in other people's films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't any. I mean, it could have been anyone, to be fair. But
yeah.
And
again, you could use
I did like how the new Abomination looked. However,
it wasn't consistent. We're going here.
Also, what was the point?
Yeah.
I mean, the one and Abomination have a fight, but they don't really have a fight because it looks like they're joking around, having a prelim spar sort of thing.
I think that's what it was, right? Because Because,
but then after they come out of it, after they finish their fight, right? Afterward, it looks like they're doing a pro wrestling match because Wong's saying stuff to Abomination like slow down, or like can't, you know, hey man, watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then Abomination swipes at him and hits him clips him a bit too hard. Wong goes, all right, we're going to play it like that, right? And he uses teleportation thing where Abomination throws a really hard punch and his fist goes in the portal and then comes out the other portal and hits his own face.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you go backstage, he's like, you know, that when are you going to learn? I told you to hold your punches.
Yeah.
For the entertainment. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Not like I'm what, but I'm thinking, these guys are pro wrestling. These guys are making marks out of the crowds. They think it's real fighting.
Because like, don't get me wrong, it was a good scene, but it was kind of pointless.
Yeah. But then they're thinking, how many of these fights are rigged, or is that just one special because it's like an actual, you know, super powered fight?
Probably.
Yeah. Just to get the crowd in the mood, because obviously you can't. I don't know how. I don't say it's fight to the death or anything like that, but your fighters are going to be fighting. Whereas if you're having a little bit of a superpower showboating, you know, you get. But then again, if you have that as your prelim, you're like, well, then the rest of these battles aren't going to live up to that.
What's next? Yeah, it's like anything after that's going downhill.
Yeah. So I guess that what they did was they had to. I mean, probably the crowd knew it was just for show, and they were like, yeah, let's get them. That's how it looked, anyways. And yeah, Shang-Chi then goes to fight somebody, right, who he doesn't know, right? Because then that's what he got signed up for. And it turns out to be his sister.
Yeah.
She's trying to beat him up. He's trying to just be like on the fence, going, "What's going on? Why, you know, what? Dad's coming for us, blah blah blah." And she KOs him. Like, I think does he say like, you know, we need to stop fighting because there's something I need to talk with you about, you know?
Yeah.
And then she kind of steps away from him.
Yeah.
And does that turn afterwards? And she's like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna get you while you're back, you know, when you don't know, I'm just gonna unleash a KO. Which is fair because he, like, even though the martial arts, like, it can't win. It would win everything. Wins every fight, you know.
Yeah. And
they do a good job of kind of protecting him losing this fight, but at the same time, it's like if he wins and beats everyone, it's kind of no stakes.
Yeah.
So to be fair, well, Raise the Fist has a weapon like that blade. So you're like he's a big guy, so he can tank shots. So he comes off as still a threat. And the Mandarin, of course, has got those magical rings.
Yeah.
So and they're supernaturally powered as well.
Plus, he did get caught off guard by his sister. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so after she beat him up, she's like, "What do you want, Shang-Chi?" And he's like, "Well, dad sent people to get my pendant, right? And he's obviously going to come after yours. We don't know what reason he's coming after these things, but I come to warn you because we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Or you know, if no, you're going to get attacked. So
yeah.
And then he goes, she goes, "How do you know where I'm at?" He goes, "Because you sent me a postcard." She's like, "What postcard?" Then it turns out the postcard is a trap all along.
Yeah. It's a trap. Yeah.
And they all attack. And she and her cohort just run off to the okay, Aquafina and Shang-Chi are like, okay, there's gotta be a back way out, right? As soon as they turn back to alright. And then Shang-Chi's gotta do like a Jackie Chan fighting some Dan the bamboo shoots of the construction. Yeah. Which is pretty good. I liked how they did it.
Yeah, that was
some
fun.
of it CG, but I'm like, allow it for safety, you know, you can't. How can you construct a set to do that anyways? I mean, you could probably just make a fake building side and make the bamboo stuff, but how are you going to swing around it like the way they do it?
It would make sense.
How do you get the wire around that to defy the gravity of, you know, it's just easier to do on computer.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad, actually, to be fair.
No, it looked good.
Yeah, it was a mixture of CG and live action. Yeah. Because the CG, you can't, I think they still can't get cloth 100% right.
No, they never will. I think on those things that I don't think they ever will get cloth right on.
When they're wearing jackets and stuff like that, and it flows in the wind, it's not. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's not as fluid.
Yeah.
Or natural. Right, but if they wanted to, if Shang-Chi was just fighting in his vest, right, that might have been a bit more easier to.
It'd probably be easy to animate, isn't it?
and believe, because
Yeah.
they could do pulls on the skins now, and that vest is probably going to be a bit tighter, so you can do the ripples on that. But when you're free flowing clothing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit.
But no, all the fights, even as we say, Shang-Chi's super trained assassin, all the fights have still got tension because he gets hit as well.
Yeah.
Not as if, and he's just a normal guy. Stamina. Okay, he may be an elite athlete stamina-wise, but you don't want to be taking too many hits,
Yeah.
You get enough hits to the head, you are going to be knocked out. You can even take one hit to the head.
Yeah, exactly. To that one lucky shot, innit?
So he has the spectacular fight scenes, and when he's about to, I don't want to say he's having two minds about finishing off his teacher, the guy in the mask, the guy who used to beat him when he couldn't do stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, he has a flashback. He's got this guy pinned down. He has a flashback, and you're like, ooh, what are you gonna do here, right? Just as he's about to make a movement, you see the rings wrap around his arm and just throw him to the side, and like, oh yes, my boy Tony Long stepping into the scene with the majestic magnetic presence he has.
You know what's funny about that? I thought, wow, he's turned up really early. I don't know why. I just thought, he'll show up like later after the film, but no, he was there.
Well, you know what? To be fair as well to you, this movie moved really quickly.
Yeah.
So you actually couldn't say when, at what point, who was being where. Like, they had a bus fight scene in the first 20 minutes of the film, I'd like to say, but it might have been even earlier.
Then.
It didn't feel long.
No.
Explain backstory and stuff like that. So yeah, this could have been like a solid 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, take my children and this American Chinese girl, back to wherever they are, right? I want to say China, but they're in Macau already. Back to his, I don't know where specifically he is. Yeah, his compound,
I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
I think, I don't know.
And then you kind of like Tony Leung explains his backstory to Aquafina, essentially.
Yeah.
About how he found his wife, how... Is this where he explains how his wife died, or was that later on?
That's later on.
So he's like, okay, yes, so some guy tried to impersonate me. They knew that I had 10 rings, and they just called it the Mandarin.
Yeah.
Right? But these people are clearly not Chinese because the Mandarin is like an orange or a dish or something. To be fair, it's also a beer recruit in China as well. But
okay,
they could have used that, but I don't think they wanted to. He's Chinese, mocking how they're doing it.
He's mocking the Western world.
Exactly. So that explains, of course, that's to retcon the Mandarin back in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
This is good. I mean, like, the 10 rings make sense as well. Why would there be 10 rings? 10 rings of power. Yeah. So...
But another thing I kind of, like, it's sort of a mess up on their side in both this and Iron Man 3, because, like, how they tried to portray the 10 rings was, like, some Middle Eastern group. Yeah, because... So, like, in Iron Man 1... Yeah, you remember the man? Well, they sort of hinted to the Mandarin in that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they had the whole sort of Middle Eastern thing going on in it.
Yeah.
And then in Iron Man 3, they kind of like heavily lead in towards the Middle Eastern stuff.
Yeah.
And then now they're sort of trying to go back to saying it was Chinese, but
okay, hold on. Let me try and explain that as best as I can. Right.
All right.
He's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
He's got his fingers in every single piece of the pie, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he's mainly based in China, right? But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have cohorts that are elsewhere using his name as fear to progress their agenda. Not their agenda, as in his and their agenda.
Yeah, I get that. But then
he has links with the Middle Eastern people just because... it's the 10 rings. If you don't do what the Mandarin says, he'll come and get you.
No, I get that, but then it doesn't sort of make sense how they're portraying it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like...
To be fair, it doesn't jive completely. But you could say that was way back in 2008, right?
Yeah.
To be fair as well. So Shang Chi was born in 1996.
Yeah.
Mandarin gave up his tyrant ways
Yeah.
for about 7 years.
Yeah.
Right. So that take us to 2003.
Yeah. Still doesn't make.
No, yeah, but then he has 5 years to be the cold-hearted bastard that would get us to create the 10 rings.
No, because remember, Iron Man 3 is set in like 2013.
Yeah.
So he'd been back being the Mandarin by then.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
You could just say, yeah, because at the same time, if he's okay, right. So if he's low key enough that someone was like, all right, there's a dude with 10 rings, I will usurp that legend and be the Mandarin myself.
Yeah.
Then that's kind of a bit like, it's like, okay, right. So the actual Mandarin's not doing anything about it. Yet somehow in Iron Man 1, like you're saying, he's got links to Middle Eastern terrorists. Like, all right, if he's that far worldwide spread,
it doesn't.
He calmed down at some point, like when he had Shang-Chi, and then he's like, well, you know what? Maybe it's a different way to go about it in a more sinister. I don't know. We can't exactly explain it. Let's leave it be, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the enjoyment of the film.
No, it doesn't affect the enjoyment of the film at all.
It's just more like, they kind of didn't. They fixed it, but when you start digging in a bit more, you just gotta assume how much of it is actual Mandarin and how much of it is Guy Pearce, Aldrin Killick fake Mandarin.
Yeah, like
to be fair as well, they never specify how much. You can just in your mind just mentally gymnastically make everyone be their correct percentages of being Mandarin.
Yeah, because like I thought we could have said some guy tried to pretend to be me and that was it. But when they threw in that Killian came to him to ask for him to do this, and all that stuff, like this is kind of crazy.
He was like some guy took my identity.
No, he said that Americans came over and asked me to do it, and he said no, so that's why he took his identity.
Oh, right. Okay,
that's why I was like, you didn't have to do that. That's kind of made more plot holes in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it doesn't take away from the film. It's for someone like me who random things like that, you're like, but wait, then it's fine. It's fine.
So at this point, Tony Leung's like, I want to say being fatherly. But just be like, you know what, you're my children and you ran away from my home. I'm just trying to keep my family together. You're back here now. Let's move on, progress. Let's put the past into the past, right?
Yeah.
Except that just a couple of minutes later, he's like, you two can help me. Your mother it's been speaking to me, right? So it's like, hold on a minute, you just said now we're a group, right? And now we're family. We can be a unit together. And then you're like, I can't leave the past behind though. Even I told you guys just to leave the past behind.
Like, dude, hurry up.
Yeah. But no, to be fair, it's not done in the comedic style like I'm saying. He's like, we can find your mother and we can be a true family together. She's trapped. For the village that she's trapped behind the wall of the barrier and she's there. She's calling to me, and I can't let her down like we did even, right? Or like I did, there is blame, but it's just like there is blame to be laid because of what we didn't do. But then when you look at it, when you view this story as a whole, it's like there's no one did anything wrong. It's just a bad situation. But they kind of take blame onto each other and blame upon themselves, and that kind of leads them into the rest of the situation.
But like, if you like, this is what I got from it. Is like, you realistically, the dad's to blame because he brought all that stuff to the front door. So he can't really blame Shang Chi for not helping his mum when he's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't a dick in the first place, none of this would happen.
To be fair, the way I was looking at it is like it's classic denial, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He's just trying to shift blame.
Yeah.
Even though he's not. I don't want to say he's being a bad father because he recognizes sometimes what he's doing is not like when he gave up all his Mandarin ways, he recognized that was incorrect. But then it's like when I'm back, I'm back full force because when I gave it up, bad stuff happened. And when I was a tyrant, no bad things happened under my watch because I could just stop everything. And like, yeah, but that doesn't mean your way is right, you know? That's Vegeta. And that's Majin Vegeta right there, you know?
Yeah. But and what was the other thing? I was like, he was a dick to his daughter. It's like just like basically neglected her. So and even as an adult, he still sort of neglected her. Like you're not really learning.
Yeah. To be fair, it'd be worse if he abused her.
Yeah.
Like beat her and stuff like that. And you, first of all, you can't beat your boy. I don't want to say okay. No, you can't beat your boy, right? But on screen, you can have that. Him beating up a helpless little girl though, or allowing her to get beat because she's doing she's not living up to her martial arts potential. That is worse, you know.
Yeah, but just full on neglect as well. It's kind of like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, if you're saying what's worse, look, to be fair, he didn't have to do none of things. He could have just been like, I'm gonna be a good father.
Yeah.
He didn't choose that route.
No.
Once the wife. Okay, so there's well, first of all, okay, now it comes later, but we need to tell the backstory of how the wife died in order to get to continue what we're discussing.
Yeah.
So he's given up being the Mandarin, and she's with the kids in the layer or wherever they are.
Yeah,
right?
in their house or whatever.
Yeah, and then the triads or whoever, the gangsters, right?
The Iron Gang, yeah.
Yeah, decide to come along and go, whoa, hold on a sec, yeah? And they're dressed in suits and they're speaking like street thugs, like I'm saying, right? Yeah. Hold on a sec. Mandarin was terrorizing us, yeah? You think we're going to allow you to walk away from all that? No life of peace for you, nothing, right?
Yeah.
We're going to, someone's got to pay. And basically, the wife's like, I have to fight these, you two kids. I'm just, keep out of view. Don't,
Yeah.
Because they'll come after you as well. And all you hear is like grunts and I don't want like she's fighting them, right?
Yeah.
The next thing you see, the screen cuts where Tony Leung's walking back into the area, like through the gates, and just looking at all these bodies, and then her body as well.
Yeah.
And Shang Chi crying, and you could just tell he's like, man's world just fell apart, right?
Yeah. And
when Shang-Chi's like, little Shang-Chi's like, Dad, not what we're gonna do, but it's like. Dad, Mum's gone and stuff like that, and all you see him is staring at the 10 rings that he just placed away, and he's like, yeah, and we're gonna do something about it. We are gonna do something about it. You're like, oh, that's menace right there, just cold, fury, just like he wants to destroy something. He's like, just keeping it all in check right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, Shang-Chi, come dressed in a suit. We're gonna walk into this guy's place. And whatever they do, I don't want to say they're playing mahjong, but they got wherever they are, right? And he just, where is this guy? Where is this gangster who caused the trouble for me? And when the people say don't know, he just whoops them all. And the last guy's like, no, please, I really do not know where the guy is. Do not know where the guy is. And Taylor was like, yeah, I believe you. And he just punches his head apart with the rings.
Yeah.
It's off screen, obviously. So you see the punch, you hear the crunch, yeah?
Yeah, it's a bit obvious, though, isn't it?
No connection, but you're like, and then he looks at Shang-Chi and he says, we'll get revenge for Mum, but you have to understand, this is what we have to do. This is the way we have to do things. And he's like, obviously, when you look up to your father like that, you kind of go along. Yeah. Because you're like, well, no. How are you going to be able to say anything to the guy who's raising you? Whether it's right or wrong at that point. You are looking up to him. So kind of, whether he does stuff bad or not, you kind of in denial yourself. So I was like, ooh, yeah, this is a shady place to put the kid. Because you're basically telling him, I'm murdering people, right? But you're going to accept it and you're going to help me. And the kid's like,
I guess.
I can't deny it, but I think it's your mum. But you're basically just trying to tell me not to have a conscience.
Yeah, basically. Which you shouldn't do.
No, exactly. It's basically, he's correcting them both, the Mandarin characters. But at the same time, it's like, I can see why he did. Logically, I can see why he did it, right?
Yeah.
What he should be doing, right? And I can see why he would turn on you because of that.
Yeah.
So then that's when he starts beating him. No, he don't beat him himself, right? He gets one of the martial arts trainers to start beating Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Train him martial arts, and if he can't do anything, just beat him. And he's not just beating him for fun. He's just beating him like to make sure he gets the things correct, or and stuff, to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
And be my ultimate assassin. I'm like, jeez, that's harsh. That's hard. That's abuse straight up. Yeah. But when you're the conqueror of your own world, who are you gonna report? Who's your kid gonna report to about being abused?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And at the same time, like you're saying, the daughter wants to help because she's her mum as well, and Mandarin's basically like, no, nothing for you here.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So
Right.
she basically is saying she watched the forms and learned it all herself.
Yeah, like some prodigy. Yeah.
And Mandarin's like, I think this is when Shang-Chi's 14 years old. I guess we found the guy who killed your mum. Here's a dagger. He's in the US. Here's a helicopter. Do what you're meant to do, son. Do what you've been trained for.
Yeah.
And at this point, you don't know if Shang-Chi's done it or not.
No.
It flashes back to the present, where they get thrown in the jail.
Yeah, because they said to the dad, "Dude, what you want to do is stupid. You want to."
No. Yeah, we forgot something there. So the mum's dead. Yeah. And then the Mandarin's got the two pendants, put in the dragon eyes. It draws a water map to the location of where the village was, and where this wall is that the Mandarin was trying to get to, that his wife is supposedly behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are gonna, in 3 days, because we found the location and the time. 3 days we'll find this place. We'll raise it to the ground. We'll get through that barrier, and we'll find your our wife.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mum. All right.
Our wife.
And Shang-Chi's like, no, she's first of all she's dead, right? But
I've
secondly,
seen it myself.
you're gonna cause chaos for the sake of it.
Yeah.
You don't know what's actually behind that. And he's like, boy, you dare try to stop me?
Yeah, you're like, okay, this is taking a turn. Yeah.
They get dashed into jail. That's because like the way that Tony Long always plays is like he's in complete denial about everything, and he's just basically a lovelorn man wanting his wife and his children left him, so he's lonely as well. So he's like, everything. This will keep our entire family together. So it's never evil.
Yeah.
But no one agrees with the way he's doing things.
It's like genocide will make our family better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. So essentially, yeah, they meet Trevor Slattery, Mandarin, in the jail.
Yeah.
Who's now essentially the Mandarin's called Jester.
Yeah.
And they find a way out because during the expeditions to the village, multiple times because the Mandarin couldn't get there.
Yeah.
He brought back a pet.
Yeah. Some fluffy thing with wings.
Exactly. And yeah, so some mythical animal, wherever it is, in where the land of where Shang-Chi's mom come from.
Tolo. Yeah.
And they essentially escape and get there.
Yeah.
The pet is with directions because the pet knows how to get there without having to wait the 3 days for the clearing because it knows the route.
Yeah.
And, they go to the village, meet Michelle Yeoh, who is their auntie.
Yeah.
And they train. Well, they train, and like even Aquafina gets trained in the art of the bow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Like behind that wall, the barrier that Mandarin is trying to get through is something, right?
Yeah.
By the way, they could have just kept for the sequel if they didn't want him to get through. But I don't know how they're going to explain what was behind that barrier that was such a threat in such a quick amount of time they had left in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's a soul eater, essentially.
Soul eater.
Yeah. The more souls it gains, the more powerful it becomes.
Yeah.
And then, it will take over the world. So that's what they're protecting. That's what's actually behind the barrier. And it's using, I don't want to say telepathy, but it's basically using your loss to fuel its breach.
Yeah.
And going after Tony Lung, the Mandarin. So he's never evil. He's just being manipulated by his own desires and his own loss. She trains him a bit in how to use the other like his mum's martial arts. So it's basically your combination of your mother and your father. Fighting style has to you don't have to choose one in particular. All this time you've been fighting like brute force style.
Yeah, you can use both.
There's another way around it. They got 3 days until the Mandarin comes, right?
Yeah.
So the Mandarin basically comes along, yo, I want to go get to that barrier, whether you guys like it or not. And like, well, you're not. And he goes, okay, well, you know what's going to happen now? Gonna have a rock.
Yeah, kill everyone. And you're like, oh, okay.
So they all have a fight.
Yeah.
Matt's just basically walking through people, like, and literally just walking through everyone that's gonna fight. Like, Michelle Yeoh's gonna fight him, and then someone, his second in command, not Razorfist, someone else goes to tackle her, and they have a little fight on the side. Then his daughter's gonna fight him, except that Razorfist tackles her, and they have a fight. And they're like, Shang-Chi, go get him, because he's the only one that can.
Yeah.
And the good thing what they have as character moment is Tony Leung, before he actually goes to the barrier, he goes to the shrine of where they bury their dead.
Yeah.
And he does sense for the mother. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice touch. Because he's going there
to get her respect back. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where Shang-Chi's fighting him.
Who gets beaten up.
Okay. He's got the bow, which has got the dragon scales. That's the weapon where these villagers have that can kill the people. The solely what do you call them? The solely minions.
Minions, these dragon things, yeah.
Exactly. So he's fighting his dad with that, and he's doing pretty well as well. You fighting against like supernatural ring abilities, right? But not crossing the line. But when he says the line like Mom's dead, right? And Tony Leung's like, I don't believe that. I can bring her back. I can. And then he's like, well, what do you think she would want to be with you, seeing as the man you, right? And I was like, oh no, because the look at Tony Leung's face is like, boy, you just crossed the line.
Yeah.
And just brings stack punch right in his gut and sends him like flying into the river.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
So you think he's dead? Well, obviously he's not dead, but
the line was the line, but at the same time it's like, oof.
Yeah.
It's a hard hitting like there, and you know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like, play fire, you get burnt. Yeah.
Tony Leung just hops across the river, goes to the barrier, starts punching it with his ring, like enhanced fists.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi's like quote unquote drowning in the river, but he had the vision of his mum, like, you can. I want to say you can do anything to put mind to it, but I can't remember the exact line. But yeah, it was like one of them.
Yeah, one of them feel good. Yeah, we can do it, sort of thing. Yeah.
And then our boy Fin Fan Foom comes out.
Is that Fin Fan Foom?
I don't know if it is, right? I'm gonna call it Fin Fan Foom because it doesn't look like
Fin Fan Foom's actually an alien.
But we don't. Yeah, but as far as we know, he's a green dragon looking creature. Yeah, and this is a green dragon looking creature.
No, that dragon wasn't green. It was like white.
Oh yeah, white scaly kind of.
Yeah.
Oh no, look, that's the name. I'm gonna call it Fin Fan Foom for now, and you can't deny that it is or isn't, right?
Well, I'm gonna look it up because I know that's not Fin Fan Foom.
Right. Okay. To be fair, all right. Okay. What do you want to call it? Dragon creature?
Yeah, man. Just call him dragon creature.
Yeah, because that's what it does look like. It helps. Create an epic scene. Tony Leung's already started breaking down the barriers. And so Fin Fan Foom has to drop Shang-Chi off and help the people that are fighting each other, groups. They're like, they see some guy's soul getting sucked out. They're like, you know what? We're better off teaming together. Michelle Yeoh saying, we've got to stop fighting. We've got to look at that direction. What's going on there? Yeah. And Razor Fist is like, no. You can't trick me. I'm going to fight. And then he sees the soul sucking and goes, you know what?
You're right.
Yeah, I reckon that was comedy, but didn't work in the scene for me. I think they should have readjusted the scene somewhat. Anyways, yeah. So now that Shang-Chi is fighting Tony Leung at the barrier, and he's like, "Don't do it. You're gonna basically destroy the world."
Yeah. And
this is where Tony Leung's like, "You can't stop me." And he tries to ring punch Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi actually starts controlling the rings. Like they start obeying him.
Yeah.
The Mandarin's like, not it's like, how can you rings betray me as well? Essentially, that was the look on his face.
Yeah, it's like,
my
first children.
Yeah. So, he starts launching more and more at Shang-Chi, in desperation, and Shang-Chi just starts controlling them.
Yeah.
And he starts to super Hadouken them towards Mandarin.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm going to have to kill him to stop him. And he just drops all the rings and he goes, no, we can't do this. Look, there's been too much loss already. there has to be another way to do this. Except at that point, the massive Soul Eater starts breaking out the barrier because Tony Leung weakened it so much.
Yeah.
And as a true father-son moment, Tony Leung jumps in front of Shang Chi to pull him out of the way.
Yeah.
Soul Eater grabs him, and at this point, Mandarin's got all the rings back, and you're thinking, all right, he's gonna try and do something to fight this thing off. Except that he just couldn't do anything. Gets tentacles all wrapped around him, and his soul sucked out. And you're like, and then the look he gives Shang-Chi as he's dying as well.
Yeah.
Like, his hands and the wrists, all the rings fly onto Shang-Chi's hands. Like, yeah, I was wrong, son. You do
right.
But he didn't say anything. It's just the look on his face displayed all of that. I'm like, yeah, that's great stuff.
I was like,
but
you're a dick.
Then you're with Chinese dragon.
Yep.
Fighting the massive Soul Eater.
Yeah.
The dragon's soul is about to get sucked out of it, and they're like, if that soul goes, we're finished because that's a massive soul.
Yeah. It replenish him.
Yeah, and Aquafina saves the day by launching a bow.
Yeah.
That slices across the throat of the massive Soul Eater, so it stops him sucking. And then Shang-Chi jumps up, does some super dramatic, what does he do? Shoot the 10 rings at the guy inside the thing.
I think so. It was some weird, after, the woman says later on, it's like some weird coming on me half sort of thing.
Yeah. But it was like basically he combined all 10 rings to super stack the potential power of it, multiplier, right?
Yeah. And
then he destroyed this thing with it. And it's like, yeah, literally, he Shingu Hadoukened it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then the finish of it is basically them going back into the city, Aquafina and Shang-Chi. And Benedict Wong comes and says, "Are you Shang-Chi? Come with me."
There's much you to learn.
Because there's something odd with those rings. And you have Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel there saying, Bruce Banner saying, they're not Wakandan, right? And Captain Marvel saying, they're not from any outer space thing I know. And then everyone was putting their fingers to their chins going, I wonder. And then we wonder, it must be from the Eternals, right? Because they're like, it's sending out a beacon, some sort of distress beacon. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's what you got from that.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought because, originally the Mandarin rings are alien technology.
Yeah.
So I thought it was something to do with aliens.
Yeah.
I didn't think that far into that. I was like, cool. They are going with that. The rings are some alien tech.
To be fair, they didn't They didn't say it is or it isn't. But because the Eternals is the next film.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah.
Logical assumption. However, it might not be, because then how do you relate this guy who knows martial arts to them immortal beings up there, which are,
yeah,
something like that. Whatever. Yeah. They probably just say one of them lost a piece of their armor before.
Or it could be some multiverse stuff.
Who knows exactly? Asgardian tech. No, it won't be Asgardian tech because they said they never recognized where it was from.
Yeah.
So. Overall, I recommend people to watch this. There's
you forgot about the other. You forgot about the other end of credit scene.
You tell it. You
with his sister. Basically, how it sort of ends as well. Shang-Chi says, "Yeah, my sister's gone back to just to close up all my father's business. Get rid of compound, all that." So you think, "Oh yeah, she's turning good." But then you see her sitting on the throne of her father, saying, "Yeah, let's get down to business." So, and then you see finally they're having women warriors and stuff. You're like, "Oh, okay, she's making her own little."
Yeah, empire. And then it says the 10 rings will return. I'm like, "Oh, lady, this is a fine line here. It depends on are you making your own League of Assassins Rise of Ghoul style, or are you trying to turn it into a force for good?"
Because I thought.
Or are you just going to be in the shadows doing whatever?
Because I kind of thought, they're sort of hinting to, like the Sisters of the Dragon and all that stuff again.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so that'd be quite cool if they went that route, but who knows?
But overall, actually, so I thought the special effects looked pretty good as well. And actually, strange enough, if they did not have the flying dragons and the soul eaters and stuff like that, even at the end, it was still a tight enough story that you could have ended up in a one-on-one Mandarin versus Shang Chi fight.
I don't know. It's a Marvel film. You can't really end on that sort of stuff. Unless you're Captain America. Like, you know what I mean? You need that sort of end of the final act CGI insanity. You know
okay. I don't think it's necessary.
It's not necessary, but they've come to a point where all of them had it. So
well, no, I think this is the end of the fight. CGI spectacle is more of a Zack Snyder thing, but
no. Look at every Marvel film; they have it.
Oh yeah, even the lower key Marvel films such as Black Widow. Yep. I say lower key, you know, the less spectacular ones, right?
Yeah.
Even that had a massive airship explosion thing music at the end, and even Captain America not Civil War, the other one. Yeah, had him fighting Bucky, but then the airships attacking each other and stuff like that as well. So yeah,
see, all of them have it.
Yeah, I suppose. And even the Incredible Hulk, right, had him fighting Abomination. We'll just take that as the most spectacular thing, because it's two monsters fighting each other.
Two CGI monsters fighting. Yes, I mean, like they've all had it, and it'd be weird to sort of at this point get rid of that.
Yeah. All right. No. Spider-Man: Homecoming didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Him fighting the Vulture was not a.
Yeah, but everything around it, like the shield ship coming down, all that stuff.
Yeah. See? Yeah. All right, gotcha. All right, fair enough. Yeah. So you would recommend people watching this, right?
Totally. Yeah, man. Watch it.
Never felt it always moved quickly. I had good action as well.
Yep.
And it felt like slow or sluggish.
No. It was entertaining.
Yeah, and it was stylistic, but not in a purposeful, like not deliberately done in a way that, oh, look how look at, you know, what's going on and stuff like that. It's just like just happens to be.
Yeah.
Story in a way that is like runs along smoothly. So I like that as well.
Even though they've made up some characters for this as well, I was alright with it because Shang Chi doesn't have a sister.
Yeah, but you tweak things to move the story along.
Yeah, I'm saying it works. Like these sort of things, it works. You know.
Yeah, in the world of Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've got a blank slate as far as world building is concerned. They just need to have the basics of whatever character they need, and they could just swap a lot of things around because Bucky's not a super soldier in the comics, but he is. No. Yeah, so.
But I can guarantee you, within the next year or so, Shang-Chi's sister will turn up in the comics.
Oh yeah. Just like a Black Panther's sister, right?
Yeah, and other people are just you're
alive. Michelle Jones will appear in Spider-Man, right?
Oh no, she should stay there. Can't stand that character. No, like, don't get me wrong. I like the character in the film, but how they got to her made no sense.
But I bet you there'll be Michelle Jones making an appearance in Spider-Man comics at some point.
Yeah, I'll say it, but
there
not soon.
Right? Michelle Gonzalez?
Who?
The Michelle Gonzalez.
Who's Michelle Gonzalez?
His roommate at one time.
Oh. Has she appeared?
Yeah, the lawyer chick, that was his roommate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But anyways,
bring her back and say her name.
Overall, you had a good old rollicking time with this.
Good old time.
Yeah. I would definitely say, yeah. Where would you say one of the more top tier Marvel films, or would you say?
I don't know. If I was to say it now, because again, I'm probably still riding that hype train, I would say it's probably in the top 5. But then, if I re-looked at it in a month's time, I might change my mind.
Well, I'd say it's definitely in the upper echelon of the good stuff.
Yeah. Of course.
It's not a spectacle. At certain parts towards the final act, it becomes a spectacle. But this is more like a story of a family just kind of falling apart and trying to keep it together at the same time.
Yeah.
There's lots of drama, but it ain't drag. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of stuff behind the action.
Yeah.
Of the characters as well. So it's like, it's not just simply they do this because of that. And is there a true villain here? Not really, but the Soul Eater, except that, you know, maybe the Soul Eater is eating souls to survive itself. So, you know.
Yeah, is it really the villain?
No one has been in this in here at all.
Yeah, for now. But yeah, man, great. I also like how they glossed over Shang Chi being half white and changing to be full Chinese.
would only make sense though, because then how can you have the village of
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and then if you change the Mandarin to white, people will be like,
Huh?
well, that's a bit racist, isn't it?
Yeah, you have the whole shredder instance again. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
they kind of then they work himself in the corner, but he kind of left it the way that make the movie work the best.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So good on them. Good on them. Because
Yeah,
try to imagine explaining that. Some white woman in a village.
Yeah, exactly. So some people are thinking, oh, maybe the next Shang-Chi will be the next Shang-Chi film be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Iron Fist, and I'm like, you know what?
Huh.
But the thing is, if they didn't have Iron Fist already, and I know technically they haven't decided if the Netflix universe is part of the Marvel universe or not.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can, like, if you start saying that Iron Fist doesn't exist, and you're saying that all the Daredevils don't exist as well, so you have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because they're one lump sum, and you can't
Pick and choose. Yeah, it'd be stupid.
You can't recast. Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily recast, but I would say not bother. But you still have to and
I agree with you. They shouldn't recast. They should just keep it. Even Finn Jones wasn't the greatest Iron Fist, but it's just like, when you get a bit tricky then.
Yeah, because all right, if you do recast, but you still got to acknowledge the series and all that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be a dick move if you did.
Well, especially if you work in the good parts of the series, like if you work in Jessica Jones,
yeah,
Daredevil, and the Punisher. Yeah. I like Luke Cage as well. I think he shouldn't be recast either. But then you put them all in, you have to kind of keep Finn Jones as well.
Yeah, you have to, innit? Yeah. Unless he doesn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know if they.
That'd be cool.
I'm speculating here, but if they do Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Iron Fist next, it'd be kind of kind of is a natural progression.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, then he match off with Danny Rand if they're meant to be the most supreme martial artists in the Marvel universe. That'd be quite
awesome.
However, it'd probably be more of a team up, and then I don't know if you could have it make a launching pad for Iron Fist movie, but then again, that's also a bit of a tricky situation.
I think Iron Fist at this point, I don't think they will do a movie. I think they'll just so if they do a movie with him, it'll be like him and Luke Cage or something like that. It'll be a team up movie rather than
Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could just lump three of them together if you want. You
could
put Fist, Jessica Jones, and Power Man just as Heroes for Hire.
Yeah. And then Shang-Chi can easily fit in there if he wanted to, because I swear he has in the comic. I can't remember.
Daredevil and Moon Knight make guest appearances in Marvel Knights for whatever if they team up and call themselves Marvel Knights or whatever they did when. Yeah. Okay. But that's enough about that.
Yes, that is.
Speculation-wise, because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we don't know.
I do think if they have the same people though for a sequel, it'll do well, because this is like the first step.
Yeah.
Establishing this character and his abilities.
Yeah.
And though without, this is a story where the original story added to it.
Yeah.
So when they do the next story, I don't know, because it won't have the dramatic weight.
No.
It have to be in that particular. Yeah. But then again, they did do it with Captain America, so Winter Soldier. So hey.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true.
But I'm looking forward to it. The sequel. And
I hope it comes out sooner than later.
Yeah. And I do wonder how Eternals is going to end up if the rings do have something associated with them.
Probably a throwaway reference.
I am the giant soul eater that's going to suck the soul out of a dragon. I know that sounds all innuendo.
Yeah,
but it's not. See why, Chung?
And I am the bus driver, Kyle Charles.
The bus driver.
He's the best.
By the way, have you ever seen the bus driver uppercut?
No.
Okay, we type that into YouTube and have a watch it afterwards. Okay.
Wait, actually, I think I might have, but I'm gonna watch it. Don't worry. Let us know if you guys have watched the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, why not? It's a great film. And also, little self-promotion sort of thing. I appeared on a episode of another podcast that should be coming up this week. I'll let everyone know, called the Doghouse Podcast. So yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. They're 4 great guys doing good things. So yeah, anything else you want to say?
No, all good.
All good. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version, recommend this to a friend. Give us some reviews on the sites you're downloading them off, whatever. And until next time, we'll see you guys then. Bye.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
You're just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name, start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
Jab, left foot, right hook.